Welcome to episode 24 of the Valley Sports Talk podcast. We have a different episode. We haven't talked about this sport in a bit. We have a hockey episode coming to you. NHL preseason is coming our way in just over 2 weeks, I believe. So we figured we're going to go over our NHL power rankings. Just going to give you our top 10 because all 32 would take a while and some of them might be boring. And then we decided why not, a little controversial possibility, our top 10 NHL players heading into the 2021-2022 season. But first, I'm going to ask these guys a couple questions. First one's to you, Brandon.
Oh, God.
We're going to get a little start bench cut for you.
Okay.
This is going to be a tough one.
Okay.
Start bench cut, William Nylander, Alex
Yeah.
DeBrincat, and Jake Gensel.
Okay. And no explanation needed, and we're just saying our
Just
thoughts.
go ahead.
Sorry, Noah. I am starting to DeBrincat, benching Willie,
Wow.
cutting Gensel.
Okay.
Done.
Okay. Okay. That's okay. Braden, I'll shift it down to you.
At least I didn't start Willie.
Yeah, sir. Braden, who has a better future, Montreal or Ottawa?
At this point, Montreal. Montreal's got a better future right now so far. Ottawa's still rebuilding and some.
Yeah, that's
shape
what I
and
meant.
form.
I didn't mean this year. I didn't say who's
Future,
gonna be better.
Braden.
Who's gonna be better in 5 years?
Ottawa might have the best future in the NHL. Jesus.
Yeah, if you're saying like in 5 years, I thought it was like
5 years down
recent future.
5 years down the road, who will be
Sorry.
better, Montreal or Ottawa?
Ottawa will be better.
That's a good answer. Good answer.
Yeah.
Okay, getting those 2 questions out of the way. I just wanted to get your guys' brains going a bit. Braden probably
Still, he's a better player, McDavid or Crosby.
better player right now.
Yeah.
McDavid.
Okay.
Who sucks more right now, Jameis Winston or Aaron Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
We'll get to that on Thursday, though. We'll talk a bit about that.
Yeah. That's a different topic for a different day.
So jumping right in. Do you guys have players or power rankings first?
Whatever Braden decides.
Braden, what do you want? Players or teams?
Let's do
I think
teams.
players are more controversial.
Team
especially for
first?
players.
Players will be more controversial. Okay. I don't know if you guys. I included 3 honorable mentions because it was pretty hard to pick a 10 through 8 was pretty hard for me.
I cut the line.
Yeah, you didn't do any honorable mentions?
No.
No? Braden, what about you?
I just have 10, like 1 to 10.
Okay.
I don't.
Okay, I'll leave
mentions.
my honorable mentions then. Braden, you want to give us your 10?
Let me just close out here. All right, at number 10, I have the St. Louis Blues. Number 10. I honestly wish I knew a little bit more about the Blues. This was a hard one for me, guys, because I wish I knew more about like when we start getting up to the top, I know more about like the teams that I have listed. It's just kind of hard with this one because it's like there's so many teams that are going to be upcoming this year. But these are all just based on it's based on last year's performance for this upcoming season, which I have more to say about the Blues. I wish I actually who plays on the Blues. Do I know anybody that plays on the Blues?
I'd hope so.
Yeah, I can agree with Braden putting the Blues around 10. I'll go off the board and say they were in my honorable mentions, so they were anywhere from 13 to 9 for me. You could have put them anywhere in there, and I would have been happy. It'll be interesting to see what they do with Tarasenko, if they're going to trade him, if they're going to play him. I know he requested a trade, but he's gone.
Gone.
Still think he's gone?
I think he's gone.
Okay. I just think they definitely still have a shot of making playoffs this year. Binnington needs to bounce back. They brought in Brandon Saad, who's a great top 6 forward. I don't see why they cannot. Brandon, you want to go ahead and give us your 10, and I'll go last?
Yeah, I have the Winnipeg Jets.
Okay.
They started to pick it up towards the end of last year, showing that they are a good team like we thought they were. Obviously, they have a good goalie in Connor Hellebuck. Their forwards are they showed that they're deeper than we thought, and they picked up some defense in the offseason, which is what they really needed because their defense is lacking. So yeah, I think the Jets are a little underrated personally, and they're my 10th.
Yeah, bringing in what?
St. Louis, if I made an honorable mention, probably would have been an honorable mention.
Yeah, bringing in Brendan Dillon and Nate Schmidt should help out Connor Hellebuck at least.
They need them so bad.
Coming in number 10, I might have went a bit biased. I have my Pittsburgh Penguins. Obviously, not having Malkin or Crosby for the first 2 weeks of the season will hurt. Jeff Carter is going to be logging some first line minutes. People are having discussions about whether will this be the year that Pittsburgh doesn't make it? Can Jerry have a bounce back season? I seem to be the only Penguins fan who still has a little bit of faith in Jerry. But another dinger, B-Well. Vladdy took the lead.
Hey, Vladdy, 45th or 46th?
45.
5.
Anyways, back to hockey. They lost a couple depth players in Brandon Tanev and Jared McCann, who personally I like both of them on the team, but they brought in Brock McGinn and Dan Heinen, who I think could be a little sneaky ads. But maybe I'm a bit biased. Some people probably have them closer to 12 to 15 range, but I'll give my boys the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I can agree with you on that. Putting them around 10 seems like a good spot for them because they're not a bad team. It's just,
they have a lot of question marks going into this season.
Yeah.
Yeah. Personally, I don't have them on my list with your two best players being injured for the first 2 weeks, month of the season in a division such as this. I think this might be the year they don't make it. Personally, sad.
I'll go right back and I'll go to number 9. I also have another Metro team in the form of the New York Islanders. This might be a bit low for them. Some people might have them a bit higher. But I hate the Islanders being a Penguin. that didn't have any bias going to my team. They just don't really have star power. They're like such a defensive team. Or is it going to be I don't know how do you say his name? Sorokin, that's his name. Is it going to be Sorokin or is it going to be Varlamov in nets? And then can Barzell carry the offensive load? They're going to have Anders Lee back. They lost Jordan Eberle in the expansion draft, so they have a lot of question marks too going in, and especially in the Metro division. Who knows what'll happen?
Go ahead, Bray.
All right, so at number 9, I have Dallas. I honestly wish I had more to say. I really wish I did. I'm sitting here looking like an idiot because it's like I said, this is all new to me and I wish I knew a little bit more, but God, what's his face still play on the Dallas? What's his name?
Say again.
Starts with an R. He's Russian. Yeah, Radulov, is that what it is? Or
yeah, he's still there.
That's who you're thinking of, yes.
Yeah,
not as good as it used to be.
Russian.
Yep.
He's got an R in his last name. He's got a beard. That's all I know. That's all I know.
You know who their goalie is?
Is it still Ben Bishop?
Technically, I guess.
He's
one of 3.
Didn't Holtby sign there, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, he did.
He did.
They got 3 goalies, 3 NHL goalies.
Be well.
Number 9, I have the Minnesota Wild. Might be a little high. I'm high on them. I like how just because it's Minnesota since 2010, they've been known as the old boring team that once every 2 years squeaks into the playoffs. They finally decided to get young, do it right, and they're finally an exciting team to watch. They got rid of Sutter and Parise, getting a lot more cap, which they're going to need to sign players like Kaprizov once they get to that point. But they're young, they're exciting. And number 9.
Coming in number 8, I have a team that Brandon already mentioned in the Winnipeg Jets. In my opinion, they have probably the best top 6 in the league. That could be, you could put Toronto up there, you could put the Bruins up there, but they're definitely up there. Like I said earlier, adding the defense help is really what they did. All they had really was Neil Pionk and Morrissey. So bringing in the 2D and Schmidt and Dillon will really help all their chances, and their offense is already one of the top up there. So I don't see why they won't be a strong force in the. What are they in? Pacific?
Oh God.
Are they in the Pacific?
I think so.
I
In
hope.
the same division as Vegas, I think.
That's Pacific, I believe.
Yeah.
I'm gonna jump in here quick, boys, because I got the same as you. I got the Jets at number 8.
Who you?
They like you're saying with their offense, they did kick in at the end of the season last year, which was nice heading into the playoffs. I mean, they did deserve to beat Edmonton because their team just consists of like just two powerhouses of Draisaitl and McDavid. And unfortunately, and I keep saying this, like I said, overall our podcast, that you can't just be a one-player team. You know, like that's what their whole offense is based around. And, you know, when you have Kyle Connors, oh my God, what's his name? Mark Scheifele, Connor Hellebuck.
He's got three.
What's it's got? Their defense. What's their defense's guy's name? Oh my God.
Nobody.
I'm trying to think of his name. I have on my team.
Just the guys you're really missing is like Pierre-Luc Dubois, Ehlers, and Blake Wheeler. That's really all you're missing.
Yeah, okay, there. But
the notable one.
But anyways, you know, like they have such a vast player output on their team. Like, you know, everybody is playing together and they're getting pucks in the back of the net. They got a lot of talent still on their team, which is great. So just hopefully, I didn't know about their defense. Like, I didn't know if it was like bad or whatever, but if that's coming from you guys, that signing those two guys for their defense is going to help Hellebuck a lot, then we might see them. They're going to be a good contender this year too.
Yep. Following along at 8, I have the Boston Bruins. I guess a little spoiler, they're the one of the 4 teams I have in the Atlantic Division in this top 10. Every year people say the Bruins, it's their time to fall. It's their time to fall. They're getting older. And every year they always find a way to make the playoffs. Unfortunately for them, they got a division with Tampa, Toronto, Florida, Montreal. It's going to be a hard year to make the playoffs, but I still feel like they can squeak in there as a wild card. They're bringing back most of the same people except for the goalie situation, so we'll see how that works out. That could be a big question mark for them going into this year. But if they can figure out their goaltending, I can't see why they won't be up there again contending.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in because I have Boston at 7, so I was going to talk about them in a minute. I think that their goaltending situation will be fine because Allmark put up great numbers on the Sabres this year. So if he can put up great numbers on the Sabres, why can't he do that on the Bruins with a better forward group and defensive core in them? I'm much better than Buffalo. What am I saying? And then bringing back Taylor Hall and bringing in Nick Foligno maybe to get that second line, because the loss of David Krejci for them is pretty large.
They signed Foligno?
Yeah.
Yeah. The big one was re-signing Taylor Hall. That was a big question.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. I saw that they re-signed him, which is a good thing. I didn't know that they signed Nick Foligno either.
Yep. I thought he was going to go back to Columbus, but
yeah, so did I. I thought that was a given.
Yeah.
Yeah. I won't really talk much about Boston, but they are my number 7.
Ray.
Okay. Ray. Sure, I'll jump in here. Number 7, I have the Islanders. I know you guys had them ranked a little lower, but I put them there based on like their playoff run. Really, I'm not sure if it was a fluke the first time because they went to Game 7 against Tampa. Now, not sure they really deserve to be there or not. But God? Okay, name a player. Here we go. Name a player on the team that you don't know. Pajot. Got him.
Hey, what did you say?
Pajot. Sens legend. No. Anyways, he's not a legend on the Sens, but
yeah,
regardless, I'm not sure. I like to see if they can, I don't know, maybe stick it out this season. And like now that we're going back to how it was 2 years ago before the pandemic, like instead of doing this, like this, like you have like just North Division and then their division, whatever. It's going to be they'll be playing other teams, so they won't be. I don't think they'll be as good now that they're moving back to a regular schedule.
I'm gonna go with you and go against you at the same time because I also have the Islanders at 7.
So you love and you hate me at the same time.
Yeah, because I like your pick. I have the Islanders at 7. The only thing I will say is, Braden, you're wondering if their playoff run was a fluke. I definitely don't think it is. They've got a good all-around team. They're sort of that team with no superstar, but they just find a way. It was sort of like that Sens playoff run back a couple years ago. didn't have
Well, that's
any big superstars, but they just have that connection. They've been together. They bring back the same team almost every year with just little pieces in and out. But yeah, so like, what were you saying there, Bray, about the Islanders? Oh, you were saying, okay, that's what I wanted to point out. You were saying how because they're going back to regular NHL season, they will be worse. I think the complete opposite. I think they're in a pretty hard division.
No, I don't think they're going to be worse. I just think that, like, they're an average team. I just don't think they won't be at the spot they were last year. I'm not saying that they're
better. I think they could be better because
in the playoffs. It's just I just don't think they'll be in the position that they were from last year.
I'm just saying they were playing in a division with you got like, I'm just trying to rattle off the names. You're
trying to name the Metro or the East from last year?
No, the East from last year.
Boston.
Good team.
Washington, Pittsburgh, Florida, not Florida, Philly, the Devils, the Rangers, and Buffalo.
So there was a pretty decent division. And then spreading it out, playing, I think, like some of the teams out West aren't very good. There's a lot of teams out West that aren't very good, and they'll get a chance to play them. I think the Islanders are a real deal. Like Noah was saying a little earlier when he was talking about them, they got a little who's going to start, but if they can both find a groove and do a 50-50 situation, we know they're hard to play against with their third and fourth line. They've got good shutdown defenders. The only problem is lack of goal scoring. If they can fix that, I don't see why not. 7.
That's fair. My number 6 team is the team that I was kind of was really confused where to put them, and that is the Carolina Hurricanes. If they would have brought back Dougie Hamilton, they would probably be a top 4 team for me just because their depth is so good. But now they have brought in Freddie Anderson and James Reimer, who I personally would put question marks on both. Freddie barely played last year. Reimer was hurt, I believe, for most of last year as well. And then they didn't really do anything to replace Dougie Hamilton. They brought in Tony DeAngelo on a 1-year deal. We didn't even play last year because of locker room issues with the Rangers. You brought in Kotkaniemi for a year at 6.1 mil. It was just kind of weird signs. You could have used the 6.1 mil to re-sign Dougie Hamilton, but you decided to use it on an unproven Kotkaniemi. Just a weird offseason in total for the Hurricanes, and I just was really confused where to put them, so I kind of left them in the middle. I still think they're a very good team, and they should make a push for winning the Metro this year. But I'm going to keep them at 6.
I'm going to jump in really quickly because I also have them at 6. I'm jumping in. Carolina's always Carolina's always had shaky goaltending, so adding 2 more, it's not changing the outcome of their team very much. Losing Dougie Hamilton hurts, but they're still a great team. And most of what Noah said, their forwards are great. Goaltending's always been shaky. They're pretty much the same team they were last year without Dougie Hamilton, so they're still going to be a good team.
Braden, do you have anything to add?
No, I had them at number 6. The only thing I want to say about that Kotkaniemi deal, I just want to pitch in on that too, because when I heard about that deal, what did he want? 6 mil or something like that?
They gave him 6 mil.
He didn't really. He wasn't.
With an RFA, so he didn't really have a choice.
Yeah,
he could have said no, I don't want to sign it, but he decided to sign it.
Yeah, because I know Montreal, they didn't want to match the deal or whatever, so they let him go for whatever. But he said he has a lot to prove still a young guy, and maybe he could turn up on the Hurricanes, or maybe not. But it's kind of an iffy deal with the Hurricanes. But they're still the same. They're still going to be the same team as they were from last year. So.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead. This is probably going to be my most controversial one for you guys. You guys might not agree with this. Number 5, I have the back-to-back Stanley Cup champion Tampa Bay Lightning.
Wow.
The main reason that they are so low on my list is because they lost their entire third line, and I think that third line was one of the main reasons that they went back-to-back with Gord, Goodrow, and Coleman. Gord went to the Kraken. Coleman and Goodrow both got paid respectively by the Flames and Rangers. And then they also lost defenseman David Savard. they just they're still cap crunched. They weren't able to really bring in anybody to replace these players, and I just think that third line is just going to be a massive hit to them. I still see them competing for a championship, but I just have the 4 teams ahead of them. I think are going to be better.
I knew it would be one day the cap would bite them in the ass. I knew it would at some point.
You can't be good forever.
Nope, exactly.
My fifth place team, I'll stay in the same state. I got the Florida Panthers. They showed last year that they can hang with the big dogs. They've always had a problem being in a hard division. And then going to the division last year because of COVID, they were able to prove that they are a top team once given the chance. They got a bunch of underrated players in Barkov, Huberdeau, people like that. They signed Sam Bennett. Was it a sign or trade?
It was a sign. They traded for him at the deadline last year.
Okay, and and he played well in the playoffs for them. He was kind of
very well.
He was a plug. If they can figure out their goalie situation, they started 3 goalies in 3 games, I believe, in the playoffs. They went 1, 2, 3, and it's hard to, especially in a playoff series against Tampa, let alone just a full season. It's hard to get in some sort of chemistry or groove when you're starting 3 different goalies. So if they can figure that out, they got the forwards. Their defense are decent. I like them this year. I got them at 5. I think they're going to finish 3rd in the Atlantic this year.
Braden?
Number 5, I have the Maple Leafs. I put them at 5 because you know what? They're still. No, wait. Okay. You know what? I wish they could be higher, but you know.
You better not have Florida over them.
He definitely does.
I definitely do. Anyways, I put the Leafs at 5 because you know they still have Matthews. They still got. I'm not sure. They still have Marner, obviously. I'm pretty sure still.
Yeah, they didn't really lose anyone.
They didn't lose any of their players.
Other than Hyman.
Hyman
and
too.
Freddie.
And Fred, but he didn't even play.
Yeah, well, I think actually starting Jack Campbell after the season he had last year is a smart decision by them. I also think that the coaching needs to be a little bit more harder. I find that Sheldon Keefe is kind of a push around, you know, it's like, it's okay, guys, we'll get them next time, whatever. But it's like, you know, you need to take, you know, you're coaching an NHL team that has a potential to win a cup. You know, everybody thought at the end of like the Canadian division, Toronto should have went and played Vegas. But Montreal throughout that whole series was coming back. They were playing consistently once they found the rhythm. Carey Price was playing unreal. And you know what? And we always see that Toronto somehow finds to choke it. And it's not because, and like, I don't know what it is. It's like, you know, I'm not sure, like, and they've been in this playoff situation before with Boston, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yep.
Yeah. You know, they were winning the series and they go on and choke it again. And then it's like you're taking the cloth and you're just rinsing it out, filling it back up and just doing it again over and over. But you know what? If
It's a great image, Braden.
Analogy.
Word. That's a great yeah. I can't think of the word for it, but that's just a great job of that.
Exactly. But you know what? If they can take what they have now before they lose Marner or they lose Matthews and Nylander and all that, they can make that work. Right now, they have a potential to be a cup contender.
You know what? For bashing my team, I don't think I've agreed with you more. To be honest.
Yeah, but you know what? I wish, you know what? We wish we could put them higher, but just by their performance and all that from last year, it might bring on again unless they can change those certain key points on their team, which will allow them to move on further when the postseason comes around.
Fair. I'll continue because I have what?
Did you say you're 5 yet?
Yeah, Florida.
Okay, so I mean, Braden just said it's 5.
Yeah, I'll continue because I have Toronto at 4.
So do I.
Okay, we'll go ahead then.
The only thing I'm gonna say about Toronto is that Braden said he thinks Jack Campbell's number 1. I know Brandon's gonna disagree. I don't think Campbell's number 1. He's been a career backup, and all of a sudden he just had one good playoff series and a bit of a good year with the Leafs. I think he's a fine backup. Like he's probably one of the best backups in the league, but I don't think he's number 1. I think bringing in Mrazek just as sort of like a security blanket was a great pickup. But I will doubt it until he makes me eat my words.
Oh, I can't wait.
I'm going to kind of agree and disagree with both of you. I don't think he is a 1A starter, but I also don't think he's a backup. I think he is a perfect 50-50 guy, and basically trading Anderson for Mrazek, which is basically what happened. I will take that. If Mrazek can stay healthy for once in his life and split time with Campbell, I think that will do them both really well. They're both kind of like average to like middle starters. So if they can split, that'd be perfect for them. But yeah, Braden kind of summed it up for Toronto pretty well, to be honest. I agree with the coaching situation. They're a little soft on them, and they need someone to give them a little smack.
Yeah, it sucks when they're like, you know what, it's like you need a hard coach. Like that's what a coach is supposed to do, is to lead you to victory at the end when the third period's over and the last puck hits the back of the net. But if your coach isn't hard on you, like you're and all that, then how are you going to be a winning team?
Exactly. Toronto's got a lot of cap situations coming up. It feels like this is the year. So
exactly, like same, like we don't want that to end up like Tampa did. Especially the fact that
I would love if they end up like Tampa did.
Back to back.
I'd take cap troubles for back-to-back cups.
Oh, they went back to back, all right. Back getting rinsed out.
I'd be okay with that.
Braden, you're the only one that hasn't said your 4 yet, because me and Brandon both said the Leafs.
Yeah, okay, maybe I should get on that. At number 4, I had the Knights.
Jesus Christ, so high on Florida.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that Evan?
Yeah, it is.
Tell Evan that none of us have Montreal in our top 10.
Evan, none of us have Montreal in our top 10 power rankings.
They shouldn't be. Okay. Okay, that's fair. At least he's not as fair.
But anyways, so with Vegas,
Toronto.
What?
Ask him where he'd put Toronto.
Toronto would be lower than Montreal. It would be.
Oh, come on.
Okay. Anyways, the Knights. I can't even focus right now. Vegas Knights. God, you know what? Their whole, they got a good all-around team. I think. Who's your Mark Andre? Right.
They got
Fleury's their goalie.
It's Leonard.
Robert Leonard. Fleury got traded to the Blackhawks.
That's it. Okay. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, that's it.
That's right. I forgot about. Yeah, they had Robin Leonard and that now and then. So like I love Mark Stone. Love Mark Stone.
Dad knows there now too. Brady.
Who got Pacioretty, eh?
Yeah.
Yes, they have Pacioretty.
Yeah. Anyways, who did they play? Who also played? Who did they play to make it to against Montreal in the playoffs?
Colorado.
And you know what? And that's another team too that should have been like another cup contender again. Yeah, just keep just groom my beard a little bit. I want to stare at it.
Okay, go on. You haven't said anything about Vegas other than the fact that you still think Marc-Andre Fleury is their starting goalie.
You love Mark Stone.
And I do love Mark Stone.
You moving on?
Yeah, we're moving on.
Okay.
No comment, coach. No comment.
My number 3 is the Florida Panthers. I'm pretty high on them. I think the addition of Sam Reinhart is going to put them over the top. He was great in Buffalo. I think he'll be a great first or second line, depending on where they put him. And I also am very high on Spencer Knight. I believe that he should start over Bobrovsky this year, even though Bobrovsky's got that massive contract. He played well in the one game in the playoffs, so why not give him the reins to start? So yeah, I'm very high on Florida. I have him at 3.
So your last 3 teams, Noah, have been Tampa, Toronto, Florida.
Yeah.
Right? So is that how you see the Atlantic going out? Florida, Toronto, Tampa?
That's correct.
Really? That's interesting. Very interesting. I like it though. I like a little bit of change.
Brayden, you're getting some wicked backlash.
Yeah, you are.
I don't see it.
It's Ethan. Oh no.
Now everybody's coming down here now.
Go to your room. Why are you not in your room?
Okay, well, now,
Room.
now-
Why are you putting in a living room in a
You guys-
dorm?
no, I'm not having that treatment, dude. Shut up. Shut up. Shit, my room's locked.
Followers go through right now.
Brandon, you go ahead.
Cut this part, right?
You go ahead.
We cut it out. No.
Hey, put a flag up.
Oh my god. I don't know.
LEDs, Bray.
Bro, you're living in a house with 5 people and you're sitting in your living room.
Well, yeah, I haven't been up to my room yet since I got home, and I don't know where my
Bill's
keys
flag
are.
room.
I also have
I
a
think
Panthers flag too. Check
This,
my
I
shit.
think this
Why you have a
is this the
flag?
living area?
Anyways.
Are you in a living area right now?
Yes, I am in the living area because I don't know where my keys are. I can't get into my room. My room's locked.
You're an idiot.
Oh,
Okay,
I am.
so
Anyways,
No,
let's
Florida at
keep this
3.
going here.
yeah, it's taking a while. I got Vegas at 3. They have Robin Lehner in nets. They didn't really change too much. They lost Nate Schmidt, obviously. No, never mind.
No, they hasn't been there for like 2 years. 2 years.
Yeah. Well, so technically they did, but he was in Vancouver. He was in,
You go sit in your room.
Holy.
Like, why are you trying to sit in the living room? Why don't you go?
Because nobody was here.
Well, Evan wants to show.
Fine, I'll go. Fine, I'll go the fuck upstairs. Okay. Thanks for ruining this for me. You know what? No. You know what? This is our house. This is our fucking house.
Yeah, but you're gonna wreck your podcast when everyone tries to watch this TV show because it's our house.
Oh, where the fuck are my fucking keys? Jesus fucking Christ. Here they are. Fucking, I'm going upstairs. No one gives a shit because nobody here. No, fuck off. Get it. Oh, I fucking care. Oh, that's great. Fucking stack of chairs right in front of my door. Take that, fucking bitch. Get the fuck downstairs.
Hey, Bray.
Get the fuck downstairs. There's shit to do.
Talk on your podcast, Chris.
Fuck. Fuck, I swear to God, you were born fucking retarded.
Are you alive, Braden?
Go ahead.
That's all I got to say about Vegas. They're a good team. I can't compete with what Braden just dealt with, so I'm going to say that Vegas is a good team and they will continue to be a good team. Number 3.
I already said my.
Yes.
Braden.
Thank you.
Oh, there he's back.
Braden, who's your number 3?
Okay, my number 3 is the Florida Panthers. I think with their goaltending, who do they have in the goaltending again? They got what? I keep screwing up his name every time I ask about him.
Bobrovsky.
Bosky. There we go.
Bobrovsky, yeah, Bobrovsky.
And Drager with their backup.
Oh.
I think that's how they're still doing it, right?
No, Dragons are taken by Seattle.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, they still have a good starting goalie, which is good to have in between the pipes. I still think, I think he's a good, consistent goalie. Who else they got? Trying to think of another forward or something. I'm trying to remember his name.
Huberto, Barkov.
Barkov's another one too, right?
Those are probably the 2 you're thinking of.
Mike Hoffman still play for them?
No. He's in
No? Oh my
Montreal.
God. Why am I like 2 years too late?
That's okay.
But anyways, with the season they had last year, I think they're only just going to get better. I hope to see them, progress going on through the season, and yeah, I guess we'll see what happens.
Number
2 is the Vegas Golden Knights for me. They're just a complete team. They have one of the probably top 4, sorry, not 6 in the league.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about Vegas.
Okay.
Bless you.
Thank you.
I have Vegas at 2. They got a pretty deep forward group. Again, they're not really a team with superstars except for Mark Stone. He's on probably the verge of a superstar star for me. And then you got players like Pietrangelo, Shea Theodore, who's a top defenseman in the league. I'd say Shea Theodore is a superstar, to be honest. And then
He's
you also
close.
have some players like Alec Martinez, and I believe McNabb's still there. The big loss for them is obviously going to be Ryan Reeves.
Big loss. He's in Seattle, right?
No, he's in New York.
New York.
Rangers.
That was close, right color. My number 2 is also a team in blue, the Tampa Bay Lightning. I mean, they won the Stanley Cup last year. Like Noah said, they're really only losses. They've lost a couple good pieces on defense, but the key thing is the third line. They're gonna have to find people to fill that role. I feel like I can't even think of his first name. Joseph.
Matthew,
Pardon?
Matthew, or whatever.
Matthew Joseph. I think he's pretty speedy. He played a couple games in the playoffs. He showed he can definitely be an NHL player. So I think he'll fit in there. They played 2 rookies. Who is the other rookie?
I don't know. Oh, Ross Colton.
Yes,
Like the
he'll
game winner.
probably. Yeah, he did score the game winner. I feel like he'll slide in there as well because they don't really have many options. And they'll have to find somebody else. But I mean, other than that, Tampa Bay's top 6 forwards, they're still disgusting. They got Hedman, Sergachev. They still got great defense, and obviously they got a Vezina caliber goalie and Vasilevsky. Still have no problem being good again.
Brady, you look like you want to like cry.
You
I
do.
don't want to cry. I am like trying to keep myself awake a little bit, and I am very pissed off right now. So I'm trying to sit here and not go and choke somebody out.
Do you also have Tampa Bay as your number 2?
I actually had them at number 1, but I didn't know. I wish I would have knew. Well, I wish I would have knew what you guys were talking about.
Well, now you do.
Now I do, and
Me and Brandon both on the same team.
Based on what you guys said, just because of like the whole third line situation, because they still have a great team in general. I think, even besides the whole cap fiasco.
Yep.
I had Colorado Avalanche at 2.
Here's a
Because-
sneak peek. Me and Brandon both have them at 1.
You don't know that.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
I
you
like
cannot leave them off the top
I
10.
would have flipped it around before we got on.
You can flip it around right now.
Well, then there.
It's your life.
Too late.
Okay.
You have
I just
Tampa.
don't want to, it seems like I'm just hopping on the train here. I just want to make sure that we're all kind of on the same page. But
You're
also,
allowed to hop on the train if you admit you're hopping on the train.
yeah, well, then I'm hopping on the train then, because after what you guys have said, which are some very good points and a key aspect point of their hockey team, yeah, they probably will be sitting at second. Now, will they win another cup this year based on what you guys said? They'll be a contender. Maybe they'll go to the finals again, but who would also win another one without their all-star team by the looks of it? If you guys are saying that third line's a key component for
Well, a
that
good
whole
line to keep
It
component.
was a spark plug. It was a spark plug. Lots of energy, lots of speed.
Yeah, well, then there you go. And then you're losing all that. But, they still have Vasilevsky. That's just going to, he's still going to keep playing great, which doesn't even matter about that. So
And they got Corey Perry. They got some depth.
That's right. They got Corey Perry now.
Yeah, you didn't join them.
They'll still be a good team this year. But definitely without that spark on that third line, it's going to be a big hit. And the cat space is just going to keep getting even worse now. So I guess we'll see what happens.
If I'm not mistaken, me and Brandon both have Colorado at 1.
100%.
And now Colorado's at 1. So
I don't know, Brandon, if you want to go through them quickly, and then we'll jump to our top 10 players, or if you want me to.
I can do it quick. Obviously, they brought back Landeskog. So they got their captain and they got their top. They got their 3 big boys up at the front. They still got Cale Makar. Obviously, they lost Grubauer, but with such a good team, Kemper will do just fine. He's been solid for Arizona. I can't see why he won't do good here. I mean, they're just kind of built all around. They got a great team. I personally have bet on them to win the cup the last 2 years, and they keep coming short, but I'm not going to hop off now. They pretty much have the same team they've been bringing back every year. They lost Brendan Saad, I guess, but still, good team. What do you think, Noah?
Yeah, you summed it up perfectly. I think their biggest question was if they were going to be able to take Grubauer back, and obviously he went to the Kraken. They did give up a pretty penny to bring Darcy Kemper, but I think after the year he had last year, he'll be fine. He's probably my dark horse to win the Vezina this year. Wild dark horse. But yeah, obviously they still have depth. They traded away Girard to New Jersey, but they still have players like Davin Taves. Right, I forgot who else they have on D there. That's gonna hurt me, but
They still have Ryan Graves.
Pardon?
They still have Ryan Graves.
Yeah, Ryan Graves. No, Graves is when they traded. They still have Samuel.
The one they traded.
Graves is when they traded.
Okay. Jeez.
But yeah, we all expect big things from the Avalanche. Okay, that took a bit longer than we thought. Moving into our top 10 players, I'm going to name off my 10, 9, 8, and Brandon and Braden and so forth. Number 10, I have Barkov. I'm blanking on his first name. Alexander?
Yes.
I don't know why I was blanking. Number 2, I have my only goalie on the list, or number 9, sorry. My only goalie is Andrei Vasilevsky. And number 8, I have Brad Marchand. I'll go quickly. Marchand has constantly put up points. He scores goals. He assists. He plays on the line with Bergeron, so you expect him to get a lot of passes. I also think he's still a bit of an underrated player. People don't think he's really that good because they all just see the bad stuff about him, maybe being a bit of a weasel, a bit of a rat. Vasilevsky is always in the Vezina convo for a reason. Personally, for me, I believe he's the best goalie in the league. And then Barkov, he's one of the best two-way players in the league. Did he win the Selke this year? I think he did.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, okay. You won the Selke for best two-way player. He gets points. Playing on the line with Huberdeau, it'll be interesting to see if Reinhardt's on the league, but I believe he's going to keep putting up the points. And Brand said this yesterday, or a couple of days ago. He's only 25. It seems like he's in the league for like 10 years. So he's going to continue to get better. So I have him at 10.
I'm pretty similar. I got Marchand at 10, Vasilevsky at 9, and Patrick Kane at 8. Like Noah said, it's hard. Normally, you got to put a rough guy around your superstars to sort of protect them, but Marchand is all in one. That's unheard of. Like, I can't even think of another one. There isn't another one who's that physical and can put up that many points. Flat out, Vasilevsky is the best goalie in the league. And Patrick Kane, even on a somewhat, not really somewhat, a rebuilding young team, he still finds ways to show his leadership, and he puts up crazy points. And he's still Patrick Kane. That people, just because Chicago's not as good as it used to be, I feel like he's getting sort of forgotten. But Patrick Kane's still one of the best in the league. So,
Braden?
Okay, so let's close the tab here. Okay, here we go. So I had at number 10, I had Brad Marchand. Number 9, Braden Point. Number 8, David Pasternak. I agree with you on Noah about what you said about Brad Marchand. I do think a lot of the time people do see the bad, kind of the bad gist about him, but he is a very consistent player, goal getter, passes the puck a lot, especially with on the line with Bergeron, you said?
Yeah, Bergeron, Pasternak.
Yeah, and Pasternak. So then there you go. You have a good combo line there. You should expect that to be your go-to line for all your goals. And I think just, and I actually do agree with you on the whole underrated player fiasco with that. I do think that he is kind of underappreciated for what he can do as a player. So I'll leave it at that. I'll move on to Braden Point. I find that Braden Point's also like a good all-around player. I know this is going to sound stupid, but whatever. When I had him for fantasy hockey, it'd be every other night he had a goal, or it was always a lot of assists. Like, so that like the puck's getting moved around the ice, and a good Canadian boy, I find that he's a good hockey player just in general. Especially being on a overall like a powerhouse of a team of the Tampa Bay Lightnings, even though they still might be that powerhouse, but I guess we'll see. David Pasternak. I wish I knew his stats from last year.
He's a goal
but
scorer.
I imagine he did probably very well with Bergeron and Marchand.
I will say that Braden, I had Braden Point in my honorable mention, so he was close to cracking the top 10 for me.
Same
Okay.
here.
I find that he's still young. Like he's just gonna get even better. I hope he gets better along the line, especially the fact that Tampa's gonna need it now. So that's where I left. That's why I have him up here.
Okay, my 7-6-5. This is where people might start to get a bit controversial. Where we have the top 7-6-5. 7, I have Artemi Panarin. 6, I have Leon Draisaitl, and 5, I have Nikita Kucherov. Kucherov was hurt all year last year, but he showed in the playoffs why he's a top 5 player. Whenever he didn't play all year, and all of a sudden he comes up, and I think he led the playoffs in points. If not, Braden Point did. They were 1 and 2. Draisaitl, one of the best two-way players in the league. Two-headed monster on the Oilers with McDavid, obviously. Hart 2 years ago. He's got one of the best hockey IQs in the league. One of the best passers. And then Artemi Panarin maybe sort of gets undershadowed because he was hurt for a bit of this year, and he had a bit of legal issues, I believe, if I'm not wrong, or something like that. I think it's something.
He did take time off. I can't remember what it was for.
You got accused of something in Russia or something.
Yeah, you're right.
Even on the Rangers, he puts up goals. He got signed that massive deal for a reason. On the Blue Jackets, he was putting up points. He just puts up points wherever he is. Doesn't matter the situation. And he's on a rising team. I do think the Rangers will be good the next, maybe even this year, next 2 years. So number 7.
Number 7, I have Draisaitl. Number 6, I have Matthews, and number 5, I have Hedman. Like Noah summed up Draisaitl pretty well. Obviously, Matthews is a goal-scoring machine. I feel like if the Leafs were to win a playoff series and he were to lead them to that second round, he could be a little higher, but he hasn't shown that he can be the guy to carry a team far into the playoffs. He can carry them into the playoffs, but he can't get them past that. And Hedman's just, in my opinion, and I think both of yours, the best defenseman in this league. You need a goal, you put him on there. You need a penalty kill, or you're down, or you're trying to hold on to a lead. You put him out there. He can do either or. He's a big body. Can't move him. He's got a wicked shot. He's a great all around, and he's number 5 for me.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Kind of hurts myself being a defenseman in real hockey, not having a defense, but he was an honorable mention. And the only other guy that really would have an argument for me would be Cale Makar.
Yeah, that's true. He's probably number 2. He will climb. He's so young still.
Braden?
So 7-6-5, guys?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Number 7, Alex Ovechkin. Number 6, Austin Matthews. And number 5, Andre Vasilevsky. Put Ovechkin at number 7 only because I think he spent this year a little bit. Didn't he spend this year injured?
He had
his first
in
injury ever.
COVID.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, like Ovi, I would like to see Ovi break the all-time goal.
Well,
we talked about this too. Like, I think that
I was the only one that thinks he won't do it.
Yeah.
No, but I think he will. Like, he's hungry. He's hungry for that. Set that record and to get up there. And that's what makes him such a good player, because he just wants to keep. He wants to keep the flow going. Keep rising up to be one of the greatest. Well, not the greatest hockey players, but a top.
Oh, he's definitely one of the greatest hockey players.
Top 5 great hockey player, or whatever. Let's just say that.
Top 7.
Right now,
yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, or whatever.
The only reason I don't have him up here is because we're doing top 10 players based on next season. And like Braden said, he was injured. And he also missed a stint because he was in contact with someone on his team who had COVID, I believe. So
I think they just broke COVID rules.
Yeah, and he had to miss time with that too.
He got like a punishment or something.
Yeah, so just if we're ranking based on next season, I don't have him on here.
Oh, okay. But anyways, okay.
No, you're good.
I'll let you guys think whatever.
It's a good pick.
I'll let you guys think on that, whatever. I'm leaving him there, and that's my.
I have no issues with him there.
Not arguing at all.
I put Austin Matthews at 6 because you know what, like you were saying, if Matthews could lead them to a win in a series during the playoffs, that would be ideal. He's a great hockey player overall. What didn't he have? He had the most goals this year.
Yeah.
I know McDavid had the most points, but he had the most goals, right? Didn't he end with 39 or something?
40 something.
It was 40. Oh, geez.
But but with him, getting all these goals and all, it just shows how great of a player he really is. It'd just be nice, if the whole team could work together, to win a playoff series, then he would be a little bit higher on the list. Agreeing with you on that. And then Andre Vasilevsky at 5. Just you never expect to have a goal, like especially having a goalie on a power rankings list, but he deserves to be up here. And I think in the middle of the pack is good because because we all know who's going to be at number 1. We all see it coming. There's no surprise about it. But I think just having the middle of the pack is good. He's like a great goalie. Big, like a big boy between those bars. So that's hard getting past him. Yeah, laugh all you want. He's big in that hockey equipment.
He is. I'll give you that.
Yeah, but that just makes it harder for them to score on him. In a playoff series, he holds his own. There's no there's no cracks in the shield. It's a brick wall through that guy, and this is why I put him up there in the middle of the pack.
I love your sayings.
So
I try to express. I try to express on myself. That's why I kind of like doing the sayings.
I do 4.
You want to do 4-3 and then 2 and 1?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 4, I have Austin Matthews. Number 3, I have Sidney Crosby. People might get angry at me because I'm a Pens fan putting Crosby at 3. But that's just me being a hockey fan. I still believe he's the best two-way player in the league. He's starting to be underrated, which is crazy to say that Sidney Crosby's underrated because I've seen people have him out of their top 10, out of their top 5 centers, which to me is completely ridiculous. He still came out last year, put up points. People said that Pittsburgh was going to make the playoffs last year. He led them to the number 1 seed. Sure, they lost in round 1 to the Islanders. But, you can never doubt Crosby. Who knows if he'll bounce back after this wrist injury. He'll be out for a bit, miss the first couple weeks this season. Who knows if this will be the year that he finally downgrades, but I still believe he's a top 3 player heading into this season.
At number 4, I have Nathan McKinnon.
Wow.
And at number 3, I have Sidney Crosby. I put the boys together. Personally, I sort of agree with Noah. What really made me put Sidney Crosby ahead of Nathan McKinnon is if Nathan McKinnon got hurt, Colorado would still be a powerhouse personally. And now that Sidney Crosby's missing even just the first 2 weeks to a month, I'm now thinking that they went from first in their division to not even making the playoffs. And because just seeing how important Sidney Crosby is to a team, he's been there forever. He's great in the defensive zone. He's shifty. He's quick still. Always finds a way. He's always in the right spot. Same can be said about Nathan McKinnon, obviously, but Sidney Crosby's been doing it for longer. And in my opinion, he's more important to his team than Nathan McKinnon is to his. So Sid at 3, McKinnon at 4.
So for me, if we're doing 3 and 4, I had Kucherov at 4, and then I had Draisaitl at 3. With Kucherov, he did show up in the playoffs, which is, it was good on Tampa Bay's part, even though, like you said, he spent most of last season injured, which, didn't really give him a chance, really show off his abilities during the regular season, especially during the compressed season. But when it's time to crunch down and win a cup, that's the guy you need. I wish I would have had his stats up here. It would have been nice to see maybe how I know he did really well during the playoffs. I just don't know how, the numbers and all that.
He
But
led playoff scoring.
oh, did they? Oh, did he? Okay.
He did, yeah.
Braden, me and you
Anyways.
are about to get in a very big fight because you either don't have Crosby or you don't have McKinnon in your top 10. And both of those are. But no, he has 2 players left. He named Draisaitl at 3. He doesn't have either.
What?
He doesn't either have McKinnon or Crosby in his top 10. I think I know which one it's going to be.
It's going to be Crosby.
Yeah, he's not going to have Crosby. You think Alex Ovechkin today is a better hockey player than Sidney Crosby? Braden.
Fisher.
Our relationship is.
Just quickly, name your 10 to 3 right now, just without any explanation.
Okay, my 10 to 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Marchand, Point, Pasternak, Ovechkin, Matthews, Vasilevsky, Kucherov, and then Draisaitl.
Just say yes or no to this question, okay?
Okay.
You need to win a hockey game. You're in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Who are you taking on your team? Brad Marchand or Sidney Crosby?
Sidney Crosby.
Okay, well there we go.
No, I didn't even. I won't. I'm not going to spoil it. I'll explain later on my next upcoming ones.
Go ahead.
Anyway,
Go ahead and say you're 2-1. Me and Brandon, we all have the same 2-1.
No, we don't.
Oh yeah,
No,
you
we don't.
You don't.
I had. You're gonna hate me, and I wish, you know what? And this is where I wish I would have had Crosby on the list. I had McKinnon at 2 and McDavid at 1.
That's fine. Explain your reasoning. Hey, we all got our.
I guess we know what the title of this is. We guess we know what the title of this podcast is.
My 2 is controversial as well. So
I know your 2.
Go ahead.
But you know what? You put McKinnon at 2 because McKinnon is a good hockey player. Now, on Brandon's point, where Colorado still be a powerhouse without McKinnon, is very true. But, you know, and if I would have to take McKinnon over, like if I had to take whoever would win a game, like if I needed a game done and I take experience, like a lot of playoff experience, I would take Crosby over McKinnon any day. Especially the fact, you know, Crosby, and like you said, Crosby's been in the league for years and still showing all the new kids coming in that he can still play. You know, this is what makes him one of the great, like a really great hockey player. But I put McKinnon there just because McKinnon is still, like, you know, like he puts up a lot of, like, you know, scoring goals, assists. I mean, I know the numbers don't really show for it some of the games or whatever, but I do believe that when I put him at number 2, he belongs at number 2.
No, none of us are arguing that.
I'm not. I'm just.
We're arguing the Sid. We're arguing the Sid
questioning
might
that
be in the top.
You have David Pasternak, Alex Ovechkin, Brad Marchand, Braden Point over. I'm fine if you would have got Crosby at 5 and had like Kucherov and Draisaitl. That's fine with me. Like I can get behind that. But just the fact that he's not in your top 10 is the part that really doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, I know. It's believe me, I didn't even think when I was making this list, Crosby didn't even come to my mind.
I guess that goes to Noah's point of him
and then you know what? By hearing your guys' opinion and all that, and how Crosby and like, and I've seen it too. Like, you know, like I stole Crosby on as a joke for my team during fantasy hockey, but it actually worked out in my favor because Crosby he's still doing it, man. Like it's nuts. And how old is Crosby, Noah? How old is Crosby?
I think he turns 34 in a couple months. I think he's 33 right now.
Yeah, so
we got 3 years in the tank.
Like how? Yeah, exactly. And like how? And how? When did he get drafted? 2000. And he's still doing it to this day. Like that's like it's been over a decade, and he's like it's been what 16 years? Yeah, 16 years.
I think this is his 16th year.
Yeah,
16
years. Okay, I made sure I did the math right. Thank God.
Good job.
But you know, like he's still doing it to this day, and he's going to keep doing it for the next couple of years until it's time to, you know, hang up the skates.
My 2 and 1 is the same as Braden's. We didn't really talk about McDavid.
I don't need to explain number 1. We all know why he's there.
McDavid's just such a polarizing player, you know, with his speed, his hands, his shot, his quickness. It just sucks that they're not really building around him in Edmonton. They're sort of just building him. Yeah,
that's what I've been saying.
Player.
I've been saying that.
So I know Brandon has a bit of a different top 2, number 2 in particular, I believe. So I'll let him finish out the podcast here with his 2 and 1.
Obviously I have McDavid at 1. We all know why. Might be a little controversial. I'm not trying to back up my pick or like backtrack, but again, personally, do I think this player is the second best player in the league? No. Do I think he's the second best player heading into next season? Yes. I got Kucherov at 2. Obviously we saw he was out for the whole season, and we saw where Tampa finished because of that. It wasn't a particularly hard division, and they struggled at times, finishing 3rd. You would expect a team like that to finish 1st in that division, even though Florida and Carolina are both good teams. And then he comes in for the playoffs, and they go back to that dominant team that they've been for the last couple of years. And he shows how important he is to that team. He led the playoffs in scoring. I don't even believe it was that close. and you couldn't stop him. He's known for his goal scoring, but he had, I think, Braden Point letting goals, and he was actually passing the puck. He had quite a bit of assists. So yeah, like I said, next year, I mean, just basing off like the Sidney Crosby point I had, Kucherov showed how important he is to his squad. So I'm gonna put him at 2 going into next
Yeah,
season.
I got no issues with that.
Thank you. I got issues with you, Braden.
I got issues with Braden, but we'll talk about that off recording.
Braden,
Braden, anything
yeah,
to
next
add before we wrap it up here?
No comments, boys. No comments. I think
Braden just wants to go to
I
bed.
think pretty good. This was a pretty good podcast on itself. You know what? I wish there was a little bit more like arguments going on for this one, except like, you know, the Crosby one, which we'll talk about after.
If we had a little bit more time, that would have been an argument.
I'm gonna get an earful from you, Mr. Miller.
I think I already gave you my earful.
No, I don't think I've heard it yet. I
mean, if the people
I've heard
watching,
the surface of it. We haven't busted through the surface, and it was really disgusting. But anyways, I think it was overall a good one. The topics were good, and
I think the people on Spotify and Apple podcasts and stuff like that need to go tune into our YouTube channel, Valley Sports Talk, just to skip to the part where Braden got kicked into his own room. You know, we could have almost saw a fight live on camera.
Yeah, maybe next time. Hey, you know what, you guys? If you guys want to see a fight, we'll do each subscription's $5.
Mini games.
Yeah, I just got to get really fired up one day.
Okay, I think we're gonna wrap it up there. If you enjoyed, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, check out our Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, all of that will be linked below, and we will see you on Thursday. Peace.
See ya.